Have you ever found yourself wondering what else you need to do for someone to notice you exist? You've given time, you've given love, you've given energy, you almost sent a signed check. You were patient while the person was absent. You were present while they solemnly ignored you. But nothing seemed enough. Sound familiar? Well, congratulations. You've just discovered what it's like to be an emotional bank for someone who doesn't even think about withdrawing. Until something snaps in your head, you decide to stop. Not because it was easy, but because if you keep going, you'll end up sending flowers to yourself in the hospital. And then the unlikely happens. That absence that seemed insignificant turns into the biggest life lesson that person never thought they'd receive. Suddenly, you're the emotional black hole they don't know how to fill. But why, right? Why do certain enlightened souls only realize your worth after losing you? Is it real regret or just a wounded ego screaming? Spoiler, it's the ego. Today, we're going to dissect this nonsense, understand why it happens, and, as a bonus, what you can take away from it beyond accumulated anger. First, a quick note before diving into the drama. This video is here because someone before had the decency to like and subscribe. So how about doing your part? Stop consuming free content like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like, subscribe, and throw a thank you in the comments. It's not for me, it's for the algorithm. Because only then will YouTube understand that this is worth more than a slime tutorial. Without further ado, let's get to the point. To understand how someone only realizes your worth when it's already too late, we need to go back to the beginning of this dramatic soap opera. There you were, dedicated, investing time, energy, and probably your mental sanity, trying to make the relationship work. Every message sent, every invitation made, every plan arranged was practically a billboard flashing, "Hey, I care." And what was her response? An unbearable combination of indifference with hints of contempt. Ignored messages, canceled dates, excuses she didn't even believe. And thus the cycle is born. The more you try, the more she runs away. The more she runs, the more you try. A game of cat and mouse, but without the fun part. Why does this happen? Simple, yet hard to swallow. While you're there, available like free Wi-Fi, you become a boring certainty. She knew she could treat you like an eternal plan B because, deep down, she was sure you weren't going anywhere. It's that comfortable feeling of security that makes some people step on those who truly care. And there you become the protagonist of a one-sided relationship. Effort only from your side, while you slowly fade away, ignoring your own needs. Thinking that maybe, one day she'll wake up and realize the treasure she lost. Spoiler, it's not going to happen. Until something changes. It's not a scream or a table flip, but that internal snap. You realize you've reached your limit, that you're exhausted, that there's nothing left to offer because you've already given up what you didn't have. So you do the only thing that makes sense. You walk away. No drama, no speeches, no warnings. Just leave. Stop sending messages. Stop trying. Stop proving what she doesn't want to see. And then the unexpected happens. You begin to rediscover the parts of yourself you lost in that mess. And unknowingly, it's exactly at that moment the game changes. But of course, only for her. For you, it doesn't even matter anymore. Something curious happens when you leave. At first, it seems like nothing has changed, probably because to her, you were still just a convenient certainty. Someone used to being pampered doesn't imagine the circus is suddenly shutting down. But then, the silence starts to scream. The messages she ignored, they don't exist anymore. The invitations that filled her schedule vanished into thin air. And suddenly she realizes, you're gone. And you didn't even leave traces for her to chase after. This is the turning point. It's when your absence transforms into a punch harder than any fiery speech you could have made. The void you left becomes a mirror showing how full of herself she was. The ego, once inflated by your constant dedication, starts screaming for the attention it now lacks. It follows the classic script. First, the subtle hints. A like on one of your photos, a casual message like, "Hey, how are you?" As if she's just checking the emotional inventory. But when these crumbs don't stick, the attempts get bolder. Suddenly, there are missed calls in the middle of the night, long WhatsApp messages, and even a "I always liked you" coming out of the closet. How touching, right? But let's face the facts. That's not genuine regret. That's discomfort with the new reality. It's not that she misses you. It's the comfort you provided. You were the safe harbor, the guarantee, the always available emotional Wi-Fi. And now, without that, she's having to deal with her own mediocrity. While she tries to win back what she thought would be eternal, you've already become another person. That energy you spent trying to please her is now being used for something much more useful. Taking care of yourself. Rediscovering yourself. Living your life without making her the center of your universe. Maybe it's this new version of you that she finds attractive. Maybe it's the fact that, for the first time, you're not available. But in the end, that matters little. What really matters is whether you want to go back to a place that only wore you down. Is it worth it? Is it genuine? Or just another chapter in the soap opera of the wounded ego? And now here's the irony. You're the one calling the shots. The issue is no longer what she feels, but what you've learned and what you're willing to tolerate. And you know what? Respect, my friend, starts when you stop settling for less than you deserve. Tired of being the fast food of someone else's ego? The one who accepts crumbs with a smile as if you've won the lottery? Well then, congratulations. It's time to retire the official doormat badge and stop serving as a rug for someone who doesn't deserve you. Today is the day to flip the script, my friend. Check this out. There's an ebook waiting for you in the description. And it's not another mediocre self-help manual, no. It's the ultimate guide for you to stop being the convenient nice guy and finally become a real challenge. The kind of person who, if not respected, simply shrugs and moves on. Enough whining in the corners, enough accepting less than you deserve. This book is a death certificate for the fool who let himself be walked over, and the birth certificate of the man who puts anyone in their place when they try to cross the line. No drama, no beating around the bush, and most importantly, not giving a damn about those who don't respect you. Ready? Then swipe down and let's change your life. Now that you understand the impact of simply stepping out of the scene and the emotional chaos it caused on the other side, it's time to reflect on the true why behind this turnaround. Why did she only realize your worth when you were already out of reach? Why is this dynamic so common in so many relationships? The harsh truth. Most people only realize the value of something when they no longer have access to it. It's a standard flaw of humanity. When something is guaranteed, the effort to value it disappears. Certainty dulls the senses. But when that's gone, the void screams, and with it, the awareness of what was ignored. But don't be fooled. Regret doesn't always mean true love. Often, what hits isn't nostalgia for you, but for the comfort you provided on a silver platter. The wounded ego wears the mask of regret and shows up to test you. Now, hold on to this valuable lesson. Self-worth is everything. The relationship changed its nature when you changed your focus. While you were sacrificing yourself, you were invisible. It was when you decided to prioritize yourself that the scales tipped. And there lies the secret. If you don't value yourself, no one else will. Let's translate this into practical actions. Recognize your worth. You don't need to live by diminishing yourself to deserve love. A real relationship is a two-way street, not a relay race where only you carry the baton. Regret or wounded ego? When she reappears, ask yourself, Does she want you, or does she want to regain the control she lost? Spoiler: usually the latter. Don't give in. Out of neediness. Loneliness is dangerous, I know. But if you go back to where you weren't valued, you'll just be reliving the same horror movie. Grow from it. Your absence was a lesson, not just for her, but for you. You now know that you don't need anyone to survive, let alone to thrive. And here's the main point. This isn't about revenge or about showing her who's boss. It's about you learning to put your own happiness first. Those who truly care about you don't need an emotional collapse to understand your worth. These people see you from the start. So, reflect. Does someone who only values you after losing you deserve to be by your side? Before making any decision, remember that your happiness can never depend on someone who took an eternity to see you. It needs to come from yourself, from the clear understanding that you are not an option. You are the priority. In the end, it doesn't matter if she regretted it. What matters is what you learned. The lesson? Never allow yourself to be treated as a second choice. Those who see you as a given don't even deserve your consideration. And we've reached the end of this emotional journey that, let's face it, was a great exercise in patience for someone who's tired of being treated as a background character in their own life. You started this video mulling over the pain of not being valued, the frustration of only being recognized when it was too late. But let's be real, this was never about her. It was always about you. Her regret, as tempting as it might seem, shouldn't even scratch what you built by rising again. Because when someone only discovers your worth after losing you, it says more about their emotional blindness than about who you are. The real question isn't, should I let her back in? It's, do I still want to make room for someone who only saw the obvious when they were left hanging? Here's the golden lesson. Never accept that someone's belated appreciation defines what you deserve. You're not a last-minute offer. You deserve to be valued from day one, not as a consolation prize for someone who realized the game was over. So, reflect. What do I want moving forward? This question is the watershed moment, because now that you understand your worth, the choice is in your hands. You decide whether to turn the page or revisit the chapter. But remember, whatever the decision, the focus should be on you, your boundaries, your well-being, your peace. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced something like this? That classic moment when someone only notices your worth when it was too late. Share it in the comments. Your story might be the wake-up call someone needs. Oh, and since we're here, don't forget to show you learned something from this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Because yes, it's important. Not for me, but for the algorithm that needs to understand that content like this deserves space. After all, no one else has time to endure poorly given lessons. And to wrap it up with a golden touch, take this phrase with you on your life journey. If someone didn't know how to value you while you were around, think twice before offering a second chance. You can decide whatever you want, but never ever negotiate your worth.